or on the road. I was somewhere else. And yet I was still me. What's strange is I didn't feel scared. I should have, right? I mean, my body had just vanished. But it wasn't fear I felt. It was relief. Like I'd taken off a backpack I didn't even realize I'd been carrying my whole life. I tried to speak, but my voice didn't work the way it normally did. And still, I could hear myself. Then came a moment, I don't even know how to describe it, when I saw myself, my actual self, from above. A man in a red parka lying twisted in a snowbank, eyes half open, still breathing but not really there. And I remember thinking, wait, if that's me, then who is watching? That was when the confusion set in. Not fear, confusion. Because everything I'd ever known, heart rate, brain function, trauma protocol, none of it applied here. I was seeing without eyes, hearing without ears, thinking without a brain. I was floating. I noticed I wasn't alone. There was a presence. Not a person exactly, but something that felt familiar, kind, almost amused. And it wasn't speaking, but I could feel it, like thoughts being poured into me, not out of me. The feeling, you're okay. This isn't the end, just a different door. And in that moment, as strange as it may sound, I accepted it. I didn't panic. I didn't plead to go back. Instead, I felt this overwhelming sense of, so this is what it really feels like to be me. And if you've ever wondered what peace really is, not the idea, but the actual sensation, I can tell you it's not quiet, it's not still. It's more like freedom, like being everything and nothing at once. That part of me, the logical, clinical, data-driven part, it would have rejected all this as nonsense. But when you're in it, there's no argument left to make. I floated, or at least that's the closest word I have for it. There was no ground, no sky, just presence, stillness, and somehow movement. I remember looking down, though directions didn't quite exist, and seeing the scene I had just left, the crash site, the ditch, my team standing there, unsure what had happened to me. I watched them yelling my name. One of them climbed halfway down the hill, another was on the radio. I could hear them crystal clear, but like they were behind glass. Then I saw my own body again. It was such a strange thing to see yourself like that. To realize the body you've always thought was you isn't. That version of me, lying in the snow, eyes half open, looked small, fragile, almost like a forgotten coat someone left behind in the cold. And I felt no attachment to it, not fear, not sadness, just clarity. That's when something shifted. I stopped watching and started experiencing. I turned, again, not with a body, but with intention. And suddenly I was somewhere entirely different. It was like stepping into light, but not light as we know it. This was something else, alive, conscious, radiating. It felt like I'd stepped into the center of a sun that didn't burn, a warmth that wasn't temperature, but truth. There were no words, no sounds, but every part of me, the part that was more than body, was receiving something. Understanding, connection, a knowing that didn't need explanation. And then I remembered, not something from this life, not a memory in the usual sense, but a deeper truth, something that had always been there, beneath the surface. I remembered that I had existed before this life, that I had done this before, that I wasn't new, that I was returning. That's when the fear finally showed up, but not from me, from something in the distance. It was like I could sense a boundary, a threshold I wasn't supposed to cross just yet. I felt it, a subtle pull. And from that place of pure peace, I suddenly became curious. Not scared, not anxious, just curious. Like I'd stumbled into the backstage of the universe. Have you ever had a moment where something just felt too perfect, too aligned, like it was part of a larger plan? Maybe a person you met at just the right time, or a coincidence too strange to ignore. That feeling? This was all of that, multiplied by infinity. I started to move again, through what I can only describe as space, but it wasn't black or cold. It was full of presence, like being in the middle of a living river, a current of something holy, and it was all made of love. Not the kind of love we talk about down here, not romance, not family ties. This was something fundamental, elemental. It was like being surrounded by the essence of compassion itself. I remember thinking, or more like realizing, that this love was not coming at me, it was recognizing me, as if this place, this energy, had known me for a long, long time. And the truth hit me. I wasn't being welcome. I was being remembered. If that sounds impossible, I get it. If someone had told me all this a month before it happened, I'd have dismissed him on the spot. But once you felt what it's like to be seen without skin, you never forget it. I started to see flashes, not visions exactly, but moments. My first day of school, my daughter's birth, an argument I'd had with my brother, moments I hadn't thought about in years. Some I thought I'd buried, but they weren't judgmental. They were simply shown. As if I was reviewing a story I'd written one paragraph at a time. That was when I began to understand. This wasn't just a peaceful place. It was a mirror, and I wasn't being punished. I was being invited to see who I'd really been. Not from the outside, but from the inside out. I don't know how long I floated in that stream of memory and light. There was no time there, not the kind we measure in seconds. It was more like the rhythm of recognition. Each moment that surfaced was like a drop of ink in water spreading across my awareness. I didn't resist it. I just watched. And then I noticed something strange. Some moments, especially the painful ones, glowed a little brighter. The loss, the arguments, the regrets. And in that glow, there was no shame, only insight. It was like the universe wasn't interested in punishing me and was trying to teach me. Not in words, not in judgments, just through understanding, as if to say, here, this is where you hurt. This is where you helped. This is where you didn't even know you mattered, but you did. That last one, that's the one that broke me. Because I saw people, moments, tiny gestures I had long forgotten, but they hadn't forgotten me. The smile to a stranger, the apology I almost didn't say, all of it mattered. Have you ever thought your life was small? That your choices didn't ripple anywhere? I did too, but I was wrong. Then, something began to change. The light I had been swimming in started to feel farther away, not because it dimmed, but because I was being pulled. It started slowly, like a current shifting, then more forcefully. And that's when it hit me. I was going back. At first, I resisted, not with anger, not with panic, but with something deeper, sorrow. Not because I didn't love my life. I did. I had people who mattered, But this, what I was feeling now, this was everything I had never known I was missing. And I knew without being told that returning meant forgetting, at least some of it. This clarity, this love, this connection, it wouldn't all fit inside a body. I tried to stay, tried to hold on to the current, to the light. Something else was pulling harder, a thread I hadn't seen. And then I saw her, my daughter. Not physically, not her face, but the essence of her, the part of her that's beyond name or age or form. I saw her future, just for a flicker, moments she hadn't lived yet, and one moment where she needed me. I can't explain how I saw it, only that I did, and in that instant, the pull became a choice. I wasn't being dragged back. I was being asked. Have you ever made a decision so deep, so absolute, it didn't feel like a choice at all, but a remembering of what you'd already decided long ago? That's what this was. I said yes, not in words, in being. And in the very next breath, I fell, not gently, not gradually. It was like being snapped through a tunnel at light speed. Everything became sensation again, cold, pain, weight. Suddenly I had a chest, and it hurt. I had a throat, and it burned. I had a foot, and it felt like it was on fire. I opened my eyes. The snow was still falling, and I was back.